Hi, my love. Welcome to the Gemma Hanley podcast. My name is Gemma. I'm your host. This is the space where I have honest conversations about overcoming anxiety and overwhelm so that you can calm your nervous system and feel really confident and happy and calm from within yourself. Along the way, I share my own stories of holistically healing 23 years of anxiety and depression myself. And so if you're a woman seeking answers to perfectionism, people-pleasing, burnout, resistance, you may love, you're in the right place. Let's do it. Let's begin. And before we begin, I want to pay my respects and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land upon which I am recording from, which is the Gubbi Gubbi tribe. And I want to extend that acknowledgement to their elders, past, present, and emerging, as well as anybody of Indigenous or Torres Strait Islander heritage watching this replay. Hey, my love, welcome back to the Gemma Hanley podcast. I am fresh off the back of 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, were very, very large, long days spent in a training. I was immersed in Rishi training, which is actually something I've committed to for the next 2 years, which I love the duration of that. There's like so much spaciousness around it, which is all around Vedic wisdom, Vedic philosophy, learning more about consciousness and the truth of who we are. And so, yeah, it's been really nice to be back in a training room, to be led by my incredible meditation teacher, Laura, and get my own neurology working and going in directions it's not used to, as well as some that felt very at home and very familiar as well. And just sitting in community, my goodness. One of my favorite things to do is to, spend time. This might be my ultimate favorite thing to do, really. Shared experiences that have depth and stimulation, but also so much humor and playfulness, and where there is just so much love in the room. It was really, really beautiful and really cool to meet lots of new people, which is culminating at the end. The last portion that we actually learn in India on a trip together. So I'm so fucking excited for that. Something I was calling in. I could feel I wanted to travel to India. I thought it was going to be this year. And I knew I didn't actually want to do it solo or be the one having to figure out the itinerary and plan it all and be in that real like leadership, decision maker, uh, direction role, more of my masculine. And so, I'd come across multiple, like at least three, I think at least four actually, different options of tours or experiences. And I could just feel that it would have been forced to choose any of them in particular. And so I just leant back a little bit and I even said to a girlfriend, it's coming. I know it's just going to reveal itself. It's going to be shown to me. And I'd heard about this training, but had no interest, like no interest spiked. And then again, purely from the intention of wanting to sit in community and have more shared experiences, I went to a workshop a couple of weeks back where we learnt an advanced meditation technique, Vedic meditation technique, called rounding, which was required to do the training. And then I was in a philosophy chat. We meet every Monday night and meditate together, chant, meditate, and have Vedic wisdom chats together. And some more questions just came up, and I thought, I think this is for me. And then when I found out that the India trip was part of it, I was like, oh, I see. Thank you for finding me. And then within 48 hours of booking, I found out two of my really beautiful girlfriends up here were also doing it. and three other women that I know from the community as well. And there ended up being 18 of us in total. So it was incredible. A little narrative on what happens when you tune inwards instead of letting your mind or your head tell you how something should be, needs to be, or gripping to things. Because a lot of us, if we knew we wanted to travel somewhere, we knew we wanted to do it as an organized experience, a shared experience. And four options were on the table, we'd probably call, I imagine the majority would call themselves indecisive, or decide that it's time for me to make a decision because I have the information I need, and maybe push down and negate that feeling of, yeah, like this just isn't quite feeling like it. And we then miss, what feels most aligned, most alive, most exciting, most expansive. So yeah, it's been an incredible weekend, a big one. And the rain is falling outside in such a gentle, beautiful way. The steam is coming off the mountain. And I, hand on heart, could literally just curl up in bed and have a delicious little nap right now. That's probably my highest preference. And I share this with you because I feel like it might be relevant in terms of highest preference as we move through this conversation in this podcast episode. But something I realize and remind myself of often is that we're allowed to have a highest preference and to still choose in a loving, gentle, compassionate, soft way to pause that or acknowledge it, and then also acknowledge what is actually the step today that's going to move me closer to the vision that I have for my life, for what I want to choose to be and become, right? And we can also give ourselves a little taste of both. Like this morning, I took myself out for a date. I went to the sauna, I went out for breakfast, I took a slow pace, came back, intuitive danced and moved some energy in my body to one song. Now we're here. So that's part of what's going to form this conversation as well, is whether you're gripping onto something, believing it has to look a certain way, black and white thinking, or whether you're able to be more open and acknowledge what you need in a moment in the bigger scheme of who you want to become and the life vision that you want to create. Yeah. Because for most of us, if we chose our highest preference in every moment, there would be not too much creation of the life vision happening. So let's dive in. This is not a sexy conversation. I've called it the fastest way to move your inner work forwards and feel at peace with the real you, because it is the fastest way. And yet many of you loves are definitely going to feel that it is the slowest way or a slow way or slower than what you would like. And this would definitely have been true for me in the past. So I really want to acknowledge that. There will definitely be some of you listening to this that want to understand it, but aren't ready. Yeah, you're not ready yet. Some of you that want to understand it or implement it, but you'll reject it. Yeah. And part of that is this quick fix, this obsession with quick fixes and getting ahead as quickly as possible that, society and technology models for us now. Back when I was a teenager, if I wanted to listen to my favorite song, I had to either wait for it to come on the radio or I had to find the CD or the tape and put it on to play. And maybe I would have needed to have waited for it to come on the radio and to have recorded it on a tape so that I could play it on the tape once I'd found the tape. And now, we turn on our laptop, our iPad, our phone, our TV, whatever it might be, and within a matter of seconds, that song is playing. It's so instantaneous, and I fucking love that. It's amazing. But sometimes we translate that principle of, the quickest way is the best way to all areas of our life where it actually does not serve us. And so when we are, and I absolutely was in the past looking for the quick fix, the magic pill, to get a change in my life or a change in the experience of myself, whether that was my confidence levels, my beliefs about myself, whatever it might have been, further along with a goal, that we grip and we look for the quick fixes. Yeah. And typically that comes from a mind approach, the mind, right? In terms of intellectualizing things, strategic thinking, even, I love creative and curious thinking. It's so important, but it comes from that place of creative and curious thinking, sense making, applying logic, weighing up pros and cons. And yes, that is an important feature, and those are important skills on the journey of our inner work and healing. However, we must make space and we must prioritize the nervous system as well. And the majority of women I see doing their inner work and doing their best to show up, and they are pouring their time, their energy, their love, their attention, their money into trying to improve their life and their situation. And yet so much of that focus is from the brain, the mindset approach. Yeah. Of, I just need to think better thoughts. Yeah. I just need to have a different attitude. I just need to focus on different things. Right. And we're not taught, and we don't take the time to understand that actually the nervous system is an enormous component. The nervous system has to be ready and has to be a match for those goals and those changes that you want to see. Yeah. And that could be something like building a business. It could be something like dating or becoming a parent or shifting your approach in parenting. It could be a physical goal. Maybe it's something like a triathlon or, maybe healing from chronic illness. It could be a financial goal. Yeah. It could be a professional goal, like public speaking or, progressing your career or even your established business in a certain way that requires you to step out of your comfort zone. And whilst we can intellectually and logically be ready for that and have the template for that and the next steps for that and the plan for that, and our brain is on board. Yeah, we've thought about it, we've planned it, we've mapped it out, we know the next steps. The nervous system has to be ready and has to be a match for that too. And this is the piece that most women, without realizing it, are disregarding, are rejecting, and are not paying attention to. Yeah. And when I talk about the nervous system, what we actually need to look at is what is stimulating the nervous system to be in that stress response of fight, flight, freeze, fawn in the first place, where we feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I don't think I'm smart enough. Oh, I'm really scared of being rejected. What if I fail? What if I really fuck it up? What if I end up in a situation that's worse than the situation I'm in right now? What if I lose certain things? What if people laugh at me? What if I'm judged?
Yeah. What if I embarrass myself? Where every time I try and step out of my comfort zone and move towards those goals, I feel like there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. Something needs to be fixed. And it's really that feeling I've talked about before, almost like there's a magnet pulling you in the direction away from where you want to go. You know what the goal is, but it feels like there's this force that's pulling you in the opposite direction, even though the truth is you want to be moving towards it. And this is when we really need to look at the nervous system, which is being stimulated by whatever is held in the subconscious. And our subconscious holds, an imprint of every single thing we've ever experienced, all of our memories, especially the memories with unresolved emotions or trauma attached to them, our limiting beliefs, times when things have gone wrong, times where a response in another has been stimulated that didn't feel good, that felt like a closing down. Yeah, that you wanted to run and hide, that you were in trouble, that you did something wrong, that you were a bad person. All of that is held in the subconscious. And when we journey out into our life, anytime we experience something that has a small flicker of a reminder to that past memory, that past trauma, that limiting belief that was created, which we might not even be, and often we're not logically or consciously aware of. So it might be that, when we were younger, when we got in trouble, there was a certain tone of voice or there was a certain word used. And then in our present day, that tone of voice is being used to amplify a message by somebody, or a word is being used without the same meaning that it held in the past. And logically, intellectually, your brain, like that, right? But your body and your nervous system is responding in another way. And so, talk therapy, conversational coaching, affirmations, the classic mindset work of logically, intellectually working through things or collecting knowledge or learning things is not enough to help the nervous system heal. Yeah, there's somatic work and somatic tools that are required. And the beginning of that is knowing how to actually connect with the intelligence of your subconscious and ask it questions to gain the pieces of information about what is happening in your current day life when you are having an experience where you're freezing. Yeah, so you know where you want to go, or you know what the next step is, but you feel really paralyzed, or you feel really numb, or you feel really indifferent, or you're procrastinating an enormous amount and you just cannot get yourself going. Like, where's the motivation and enthusiasm gone, right? That can be a classic example of the nervous system response of freeze, because something that is stored within your subconscious from the past is saying it is not safe for you to move forwards towards this goal where you want to go. And then the nervous system is having a response that is trying to communicate that to you so that you listen and you go inward and you find, what is that piece? Because when I know what that piece is, I can actually get curious about it. I can listen to it so that I can learn about it. I can show it compassion. I can understand how it's trying to keep me safe and which of my core human needs it's currently meeting. And then I can get really flexible and actually change it. I can release any of the emotion or stuck energy around it. And I can use it to inform actually what is going to be the most strategic path forwards, not just for my brain, my neurology, my intellectual, logical thinking, but also for my nervous system as well, because the nervous system is coming with you too, my love. And I'm sure that as you're listening to this, you're maybe reflecting and realizing how true this is for you, that no matter how strong-willed or clear you are on your goal or precisely you have the next steps mapped, if the nervous system and the feeling in the body is not okay, I'm in flow, I'm excited about this feels good, this feels safe, this feels aligned, then if you're getting those steps done, it's through a lot of force and probably bullying yourself and telling yourself what you have to do and what you should be doing, and probably even shaming yourself when you're not doing that, calling yourself lazy, calling yourself stupid, calling yourself useless, believing that you're broken, that there's something wrong with you, that you're not good enough, that there's something to be fixed. Right. And we're heading into the more, I was going to say tangible. It's relatively tangible, more practical, I would say. We're heading into more of the practical concept that I want to give you around this, so that you can be a woman that honors and respects both. You can be a woman that is prioritizing, yes, your mindset, but also your nervous system in your inner work and your healing journey. Because as soon as you do that, as soon as you learn how to respect the nervous system, to listen to the nervous system, to use it as the phenomenal tool that it is, that is consistently feeding you intelligence about what you need to look at so that you can just open that door and walk straight through it to exactly where you want to go. That's when the pace and the speed of moving forwards in your healing and growth takes place. Yeah. It's like you've been standing there with a whole like a bucket full of keys, jamming them into the keyhole, trying to figure out which one, to get through that door, thinking you just need to be smarter or you just need a better tip. Yeah. And in actual fact, when you add in the prioritization of your nervous system and the somatic tools to complement the mindset work, then the door just opens and you start walking through it. Here's the shift that has to take place before that can happen. We need to shift from a do to yourself. Yeah, so we're talking about the inner work here, emotional healing. Do to yourself. This is something I need to do to myself. Yeah, my body is in the way. My body is so inconvenient. Yeah, and mind as well. Yeah, so what we're talking about here is painful emotions, physical symptoms, and a busy mind. Yeah. All of that is annoying. It's frustrating, it's wrong, it's bad, it's in the way. Yeah, it needs to be fixed, it needs to be gotten rid of, it needs to be changed. When we come from this attitude, and I mean, when we have this mindset around our healing and growth, we are being the dictator to ourselves. Yeah. And we're also seeing ourselves as separate. Yeah. And so part of what comes with that is we're treating ourselves as if we're really fucking stupid. And the truth is, it's the opposite. The body is always getting it right. The body is always communicating with us, and the subconscious is always communicating with us in the best way it knows how to get our attention. So if there is something that is stimulating the nervous system that we haven't paid attention to and it needs to be healed before we can become more calm, more peaceful, more confident, and go after and receive more of what we want in life, the subconscious and the body is going to speak to us in the best way it knows how to let us know about that, which is making us uncomfortable. Yeah, hence the painful emotions, physical symptoms, and a busy mind. They are not the problem. They are symptoms of the problem, saying, hey, there's something here to be paid attention to. We're going to make you so uncomfortable so that you can no longer suppress this stuff, because it's time to express it and let it go. and to grow beyond it. When we don't see that, and we think that our body, our mind, and our emotions is just a pain in the ass, we're in a dictator role. Yeah, we're believing we know better. And we're operating from fear and from lack. Yeah. There's something wrong with me. I'm broken. I'm a bad person. I'm not as good as other people. Successful people have something that I don't, right? Which is really untrue. And it is impossible to be prioritizing the nervous system in your healing and growth when this is your attitude. I really want to highlight that. If what I've just explained really lands with you in terms of what your approach or your attitude or your mindset is towards the inner work and healing and growth, there is an enormously untapped potential for you to move forwards in a quicker way. And that is by prioritizing your nervous system through shifting to a do with yourself approach. Yeah. So the first one I explained was you're doing it to yourself. I need to do healing to myself. I need to take these tools and apply them to myself, right? I need to fix myself. Whereas when we're doing it with ourself, what we come to understand is, yes, there is this intelligence within me. Painful emotions are speaking to me with an intelligent message. Physical symptoms are here to teach me an important lesson. Yeah, to reveal information to me that is really essential. A busy mind is here to show me that there is dis-ease, dysfunction, disharmony in the body, and that is there and needs to be looked at so that I can create spaces of feeling calm and peaceful within myself. And so when we adopt and shift into the do with myself or with yourself, gosh, I've got such an itchy nose. We're approaching healing from this truth that my body is on my team. My body's not getting it wrong. Yeah, it's responding to the conditions that I have consistently placed it within. Yeah, the types of relationships, the types of environments, the types of events, the types of choices, the types of behaviors, right? It's reflecting back to me how aligned that is with dis-ease, dysfunction, disharmony. It is giving me the gift of intelligence of saying, hey, there is a big disconnection here from the real you, from the truth of who you are. And we need that information, right? When I'm working with a client, especially one-on-one, and we're talking about where their progress is at or how far they've moved forward. This communication system of intelligence from the body is so useful. Because when we're finding the pieces and working through them and healing them with somatic tools, yeah, beyond the mindset, then these symptoms and emotions and the noisiness upstairs in their mind shifts and changes. And so it's indicating to us, it's a beautiful indicator of where we're at in terms of choosing, living from, and expressing our most authentic, real self. Yeah. So it definitely comes from this perspective of, oh, my body is actually on my team. My body is helping to show me the way. My body is communicating with me. Yeah, my body is giving me signals. And this is why a huge part of what I teach is how to connect with your subconscious somatically and ask it questions, because that information is there. As soon as we are willing to hear it, because we're doing it with ourselves and we're showing it the respect that it deserves, as opposed to hating on ourselves, dismissing ourselves, invalidating ourselves. Yeah, when we connect inwards, we get that information. And instead of being in this position of approaching your inner work from fear and neediness and desperation and stress and being the dictator, you start approaching it from curiosity and compassion, right? This is a key indicator. If you're unable to experience compassion for yourself as you're gathering awareness, and instead you're judging yourself in that awareness, then you're not yet in this do with yourself attitude. Yeah, there's so much compassion and so much love and so much patience and curiosity when we are bringing a do with myself attitude to healing. Yeah. And we switch out of the dictator of this is how long it should take. This is how it should look. This is what I'm willing to do. I've already spent this much money. I should already have this answer. I've already tried this. I've already tried that. I want it faster. And instead, we step into the listener. Yeah. And we open to questions like, what am I being shown is required here? What am I being shown is not working that I'm still trying to force? What am I intuitively feeling? If I was to trust myself and back myself, what am I intuitively feeling is most right for me right now? And how can I begin just taking one little step towards that without demanding or dictating that it all has to be completed in one day or 1 week, or 1 month or one go, and it has to look perfect first time? Yeah, there's a big difference. And this is the energy you're bringing to the relationship with yourself. Yeah, are you saying to yourself and to your goals, you're too slow, you're too annoying, hurry up, you're getting it wrong, be better, be faster? Oh, I can't believe you still haven't figured this out. Is that how you're speaking to yourself? Or are you coming from this approach of, what do I need today? Okay, there's discomfort in my body. How can I actually welcome that in and investigate it, get curious about it? If that's on my team, that has an important message for me, which is the key data, the key answer that is actually going to move me forwards. Probably don't need to hate that. Yeah. It's allowed to be difficult. It's allowed to feel hard and confusing, but it's still the key data and the key information that I require to be able to move forwards. So that's the conversation I wanted to bring for you today as a real thought provoker. Yeah. How much of your healing and growth has your nervous system included in it as a priority? What are the somatic techniques that you have for going inwards and finding past significant emotional events or memories with unresolved emotions or limiting beliefs like I'm not good enough, I'm failing, I'm an embarrassment, I'm not lovable, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me, something needs to be fixed? Releasing emotions like guilt and shame and sadness and anxiety and fear? Are they currently in your toolkit? And are you approaching your evolution, your beautiful expansion and blooming and ongoing, everlasting self-discovery as the listener Or are you constantly dictating and nitpicking and pulling yourself apart? Okay, my love, that's what I have for you today.
Thank you for being here for this conversation, my love. If you would like more free resources, if you'd like to learn about my programs or coaching opportunities, you can find all of that information at my website, gemmahanley.com. I'll link it below in the show notes. And if you would like to connect daily, head over and find me on Instagram. My handle there is Gemma E. Hanley, and I reply to all of my DMs there personally. If you enjoyed this episode and found it valuable, please share it with someone. You never know who needs to hear one little thing to take their day from feeling stuck and heavy to light and free. See you on the next one.